When you see someone lifting heavy in the gym, that person is usually muscular, right? That's why incorporating progressive overload into your routine is essential. It's important to keep track of your progress and dedicate yourself to the correct techniques to increase the weight in the upcoming weeks. However, before starting to add more weight to your workouts, there are some important concepts you need to understand. To assist you, I decided to create this video filled with valuable content to help you achieve a strong and muscular physique. I'll share a complete strategy at the end with a comprehensive method for you to follow and achieve your best results in muscle gain. When you start a training program, your body is still learning to properly activate each muscle group. The command from the brain travels through the spinal cord to the muscle, but it isn't fully synchronized yet. It can take some time for this brain-muscle communication to improve, which could last about 2 to 3 months. This adjustment process is what we call neuromuscular adaptation, where your body creates the so-called muscle memory, making you stronger and more prepared for muscle building. As this adaptation occurs and the muscle is activated, it becomes stronger. So, we understand that training is more than just lifting weights, it's about developing precise communication between mind and body. Therefore, when considering increasing the load in your workouts, it's crucial to understand that enhancing the neuromuscular connection is the way to achieve the best results in terms of strength and, consequently, muscle growth. For those starting on their muscle building journey, it's common to notice a rapid increase in the ability to lift more weight. This initial gain in strength happens at a surprising pace, often without a proportional increase in muscle volume. I remember when I first started at the gym, I was able to double the weights I used in bench presses every 3 to 4 weeks. But how will you know when to add more weight as days go by in the gym? I'll explain shortly, but make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because there are only powerful tips here to assist you in your evolution. As you progress in your training journey, after overcoming the initial adaptation phase and starting to have good consistency in your workouts, your approach needs to change. Remember that each exercise is designed to target specific muscles. For example, if a bicep curl is poorly executed, instead of focusing on the biceps, you might end up recruiting muscles like the deltoids, trapezius, and even the lower back muscles, which is not good because it diminishes the intensity on the target muscle and decreases the recovery of incorrectly forced muscles. So, what's the benefit of increasing the weight if the execution is faulty? Increasing the weight without correct execution only favors injuries and exhausts you in vain since you couldn't focus properly on developing that specific muscle. And by making this compensation, a method many wrongly adopt inspired by videos without any knowledge base, ends up shifting the load to secondary muscles instead of focusing on the main one. Therefore, before considering increasing the weight, the priority should be to improve the exercise technique. When you execute perfectly, all the effort is concentrated exactly on the target muscle, then you can apply gradual load progression, gradually increasing the weight until it becomes light, and then evolve, but without haste, because with the correct technique, you will see that the results come much faster. Again, using the example of the bicep curl, we know that the focus is on the biceps. If the execution is correct, then all the weight is effectively directed to it. However, what often happens is a premature increase in weight, leading to unwanted compensation. For example, if your biceps can handle 22 pounds in the bicep curl, and you decide to add more weight beyond this capacity, say 33 pounds, those extra 11 pounds won't just overstrain other body muscles. They will be redistributed to other muscles instead of focusing only on the biceps. This explanation aims to simplify in a more practical way, but this compensation can result in other muscles taking on much more than those extra 11 pounds mentioned due to a drastic change in the executed movement. Therefore, prematurely increasing the weight can be counterproductive and, instead of aiding your progress, it can end up harming your muscle building and health. We need to reassess and realize that, although progressive load increase is a scientifically proven path to muscle development, it's crucial to understand exactly where this additional load is being directed and to increase it slowly for maximum benefit. For the bicep curl, I usually recommend increasing by 5 pounds with each increment to maintain good execution. Over the years, my perception of training has evolved significantly. I understand that load is indeed important, but it must be applied wisely. When I started, I was entirely focused on simply increasing weights, thinking that was the secret to getting strong quickly, but I realized that's not quite right. This approach brought me long-term consequences. Today, I live with limitations in various parts of the body, wrists, knees, and lower back. Therefore, one of the goals of this channel is to share these experiences, so you don't make the same mistakes I did. Although advice can be useful in some situations and less so in others, my learning has allowed me to understand that I can achieve significant results with moderate loads, but in a much more effective way, focusing on the quality of movement and the correct application of load. Every day I wake up, I think of a way to help people like you achieve the best result in the gym, correctly, protecting your health and well-being, and being very efficient in optimizing your outcome. So, even though I may have done myself a disservice by using too much weight early on, the importance of load in training is undeniable, since each muscle fiber acts like a mini power plant. If we don't push these power plants to their limits, they simply won't develop. This is because our body operates on a very pragmatic logic. If it's handling current demands well, there's no need to adapt or change. After all, the human body is programmed to be efficient, always seeking to conserve energy when it's not being sufficiently challenged. In this context, our body doesn't have an intrinsic interest in gaining muscle mass. It will do so only if it's absolutely necessary. Therefore, to induce muscle growth, it's crucial that training is truly challenging. This means we need to go beyond just increasing the load. We must intensify the stimulus provided to the muscles. So, we should also adjust the number of sets and repetitions to increase intensity before just piling on more weight. When we talk about increasing the stimulus, we're considering these variables over the number of repetitions, sets, and the frequency of workouts. All of this plays into the concept of progression. So, while we discuss load progression, it's essential to approach progression in a broader sense. Upping the weight is key, but increasing the volume of repetitions also holds vital importance, depending on the weight being used. Increasing the number of sets as well, since this boosts the total volume of work, a necessary component for muscle to grow and get stronger, progressively scaling the levels of challenge. So, when you start your training journey, your level of muscle development is at a starting point, as are the daily stimuli that this muscle receives. At this stage, the muscle understands that there's no need to grow further. Then you introduce a more intense stimulus, whether it's through increased load, extra sets, or additional repetitions, and the muscle realizes, I need to get stronger to handle this. With each additional workout and the introduction of more challenging stimuli, it responds by getting stronger and, consequently, growing. It's through this gradual progression, moving step by step, that the muscle gains strength and manages to grow. This path of evolution needs to be carefully planned and executed with attention to detail, which is why it's important for you to always be here on the channel for better and continuous improvement. Remember, to achieve an effective progression of load and repetitions for muscle mass gain involves a combination of essential training principles in your journey, ensuring proper nutrition, physical and muscle recovery, and periodic adjustments. So here's a step-by-step to help you. Periodization. Divide your training into phases: hypertrophy, strength, and endurance, focusing on different objectives every 2 months to maximize gains and avoid plateaus. Typically, aim for 5 to 7 repetitions in the strength phase, 8 to 12 in the hypertrophy phase, and 14 to 16 in the endurance phase. This average takes into account that you're going near failure or failing on the last repetition. Include advanced techniques like drop sets to accelerate this progress, alternating them with supersets and negatives. When incorporated into your routine, these help to increase workout intensity and stimulate more muscle growth. Now, onto nutrition. Consume a caloric surplus to allow for hypertrophy and muscle mass increase, about 250 to 350 calories above your daily energy expenditure, increasing every 10 to 15 days, as your weight stabilizes. Focus on a protein-rich diet, 2 grams per kilo of body weight, and healthy fats, include 1 gram per kilo of body weight, and balance the remaining calories with carbohydrates. For rest and recovery, respect the minimum recovery time for each muscle group of 72 hours, which is the ideal time to repair muscle fibers and prepare the muscle for another intense training session. Aim to sleep at least 7 hours per night to achieve optimal repair in your body, muscles, and mind. So, give a like if this content helped you in any way and make sure you're subscribed to stay updated with many more tips coming your way. Thank you for being here, and see you soon.